I was reborn as the son of the wealthiest man in the city of Haishi. Coincidentally, the male lead, an intern, and I shared the same birthday. But my fiancée, the female lead, ditched me. She went to the coast to celebrate the intern's birthday. Sincere, you have so many people to celebrate with. Ethan only has me. What's there for you to complain about? The next day I bankrupted her family. Her father dragged them both back, forced them to kneel before me and beg for forgiveness by repeatedly bashing their heads on the floor. I had my bodyguards toss her a baseball bat. Whether I spare the Thorne family or not all depends on your performance. Chapter 1. I was reborn as the spineless side character. Sincere Sterling, son of Haishi's richest man. My first day after transmigrating happened to be my birthday. Nearly every young master and debutante from Haishi's elite was in attendance. Only my fiancée was a no-show. Inside the private room, all eyes were on me, filled with probing curiosity. I lounged lazily on the sofa, sipping red wine, my expression unreadable. My best friend Gregory Vance clinked his glass against mine. He glanced at his watch and frowned. Sincere, it's your birthday. Why isn't your fiancée here yet? What's her deal? Just then, a gasp rippled through the crowd. Everyone craned their necks to see what the commotion was about. When their gazes returned to me, they were complex. There was mockery, pity, and a hint of schadenfreude. Greg, his face dark, shoved his phone in front of me. It was the latest post from my fiancée's social media. On the terrace of a beach house. She was kneeling, personally fastening a watch worth hundreds of thousands of dollars onto the intern's wrist. Their gazes were tangled with unspoken emotion. Beside them sat a massive cake. The caption read, "The best man deserves the most beautiful scenery and the best gift. Happy birthday. I hope my dear Ethan is happy forever." Damn it. That Victoria Thorne is a real piece of work. I'm calling her right now. Greg looked even more furious than I was. He had to dial several times before she picked up. The sound of strong wind and crashing waves came through the phone. "Victoria Thorne, what the hell is going on between you and that intern?" Greg's tone was hostile, his face contorted with rage. On the other end, Victoria Thorne's voice was tinged with annoyance. "Greg, are you interrogating me?" Greg suppressed his anger. "You've been with Sincere for years. Don't tell me you forgot today is his birthday." At Greg's words, Victoria's voice faltered for a moment. I gestured to Greg, who quickly handed me the phone. My voice was ice. "Where are you right now?" Victoria recognized my voice and sounded flustered for a second. "Sincere, I'm still on a business trip. I can't make it back for now. I'll make it up to you next time." "Huh, so your business trip is a date at the beach to celebrate an intern's birthday." I cut her off without hesitation. "What date? Don't make it sound so ugly." Victoria's voice grew sharp with irritation. "I told you, I've always seen Ethan as a little brother. He just started his internship and is under a lot of pressure. What's wrong with me celebrating his birthday with him?" Then, a pitiful voice drifted through the phone. "My dear Victoria, is Mr. Sterling upset because you're celebrating with me? I know I'm not worthy. Maybe you should go back first. I'll be fine on my own. Don't worry about me." Victoria immediately comforted him. "How could I possibly leave you here alone? If Sincere were half as kind and sensible as you, I wouldn't find him so annoying." Then she spoke coldly into the phone. "Sincere, can you stop being so unreasonable? It's just a birthday. You have so many people to celebrate with you. Ethan only has me. What more do you have to complain about? You're the CEO of Sterling Corporation. Are you really going to get jealous over an intern? You're ridiculous, of course." It was the original Sincere's constant indulgence that made Victoria so brazenly fearless. I let out a cold laugh. "Victoria Thorne, have you forgotten who's responsible for your family's success? Since you spit in the face of kindness, don't blame me for being ruthless." With a dark expression, I hung up the phone. Chapter 2. Having just transmigrated, I hadn't yet sorted out the original novel's plot. I quickly reviewed it in my mind. The Sincere Sterling of the book was nothing more than a tool to pave the way for the male and female leads' love and careers. He and Victoria Thorne were childhood sweethearts. He had always granted her every wish. After they graduated from college, the Thorne family proposed an engagement. Although the Sterling family looked down on the Thornes, when the old patriarch saw the pleading in the original Sincere's eyes, he finally relented. From that point on, Thorne Corp skyrocketed. The original Sincere used all of the Sterling family's resources to clear a path for them, transforming them from a small, near-bankrupt workshop into a newly rich family that ranked among the city's second-tier elite. The male lead, Ethan, was a poor student sponsored by the Thorne family. Everything changed after he started interning at Thorne Corp. Victoria Thorne began revolving her entire life around Ethan Miller. She used the original Sincere's supplementary credit card to buy him custom-tailored suits and watches worth hundreds of thousands. The original Sincere and the intern shared the same birthday. Without a second thought, she ditched her fiancé to celebrate with the intern. When the original Sincere had a severe cold and a 104-degree fever, lying in a hospital bed on a 4-drip, she was in a nightclub booth, drinking with her arms linked around Ethan's. A video was posted online. The headline was glaring, "Thorne heiress parties all night with her boy toy." Even after all that, the original Sincere was still deeply in love with Victoria. He forgave her time and time again, thinking that once they were married she would finally settle down. After their wedding, the original Sincere doted on Victoria even more, but unexpectedly she orchestrated a major car accident that killed his parents on the spot, and the original Sincere himself was tortured to death by Victoria and Ethan. Victoria ground her stiletto heel into the back of his hand, her eyes filled with venom. "Sincere Sterling, if you hadn't used your power to force me to marry you, I would have been with Ethan long ago. A vicious man like you deserves to go to hell." Ethan squatted down, laughing maniacally. "You think Victoria really loved you? She only loved the Sterling family's money. We arranged your parents' car accident. Now both Sterling Corporation and Thorne Corp are ours. You're so pathetic." After the original Sincere died, that despicable pair got together and lived happily ever after. Unbelievably, the original Sincere was then reborn. But instead of getting revenge, he just said to Victoria, "Vicky, I don't love you anymore." Reading that, I cursed out loud. What kind of person writes this garbage? The next second, I was pulled into the book. Chapter 3. Snapping out of my thoughts, I took out my phone and called my assistant. The call connected quickly. My voice was cold, devoid of any emotion. "Simon, starting tomorrow, cancel all cooperation with Thorne Corp and target all of their business operations. Also investigate for any irregularities in the collaborations between Thorne Corp and Sterling Corporation over the years." Yes, Mr. Sterling, did they really think I was that original pushover? Since I'm here now, I'm going to have some fun with them. After I hung up, the atmosphere in the room froze. The gazes that were once filled with pity or mockery now held nothing but incredulous shock. Everyone knew how pathetically I loved Victoria Thorne. Even when she publicly berated me, I would just lower my head and endure it silently. But the cold, decisive tone on that phone call showed no trace of the doormat I used to be. Greg's wine glass was frozen in midair as he stared at me, wide-eyed. He had known me for over a decade, but it was as if he was truly seeing me for the first time. I tossed the phone to Greg and said nonchalantly, "Forget about her. Let's have fun. Since she's asking for it, I'll be sure to grant her family's wish." Greg knew that 70% of Thorne Corp's business came from Sterling Corporation. From this day forward, there would be no place for Thorne Corp in Haishi, a family that could only act arrogant because they were propped up by the Sterlings. Did they not know their place? How dare they stomp the Sterling family's pride into the dirt like this? If the Thorne family went bankrupt, it would be entirely their own doing. Greg had been worried that I was too obsessed with Victoria, afraid she would have me wrapped around her finger after marriage. Seeing my sudden awakening, he was even happier than I was. "You're right. This time, Victoria Thorne needs to learn her place. Come on, everyone, drink up in an instant." The room erupted with life again. Chapter 4. After the call was disconnected, Victoria Thorne's face paled. A wave of inexplicable panic washed over her. Her best friend, Vivian Croft, asked with a puzzled look, "Vicky, what did Sincere say?" Victoria's expression was ugly. "Sincere seems genuinely angry." His tone was really harsh. Vivian scoffed. "So what? You're just out celebrating Ethan's birthday. What does he have to be angry about? Besides, you're not even married yet. If he's this controlling now, what's it going to be like after you're married? I'm telling you, you can't spoil a man too much. This is the perfect opportunity to break him in." Hearing her friend's words, Victoria also felt that Sincere was making a big deal out of nothing. "Viv, you're right. He's always been so good to me." "This is probably just him throwing a little tantrum. When I get back, if he doesn't apologize properly, I won't forgive him so easily." Ethan immediately put on a self-reproachful act. I'm so sorry, my dear Victoria. It's all my fault. I didn't know today was Mr. Sterling's birthday, too. As he spoke, tears welled up in his eyes. I know you're usually very busy, and I just wanted you to relax a bit for my birthday. I really didn't know Mr. Sterling would get angry. It's all my fault. I'll go and apologize to him when we get back. He can yell at me, hit me, I won't fight back. Please don't let this affect your relationship of so many years. Seeing Ethan's tears, Victoria's heart ached. She quickly wiped them away for him. Ethan, you're just too kind. This has nothing to do with you. I've celebrated so many birthdays with him. What more could he want? It's Sincere who's being petty. When we get back, I'll make him apologize to you properly. Ethan lowered his head, his eyes red, but a triumphant smile played on his lips. He leaned into Victoria's embrace, his voice choked with emotion. My dear Victoria, you're so good to me. Unlike me, I've had such a hard life with no one to care for me. Only you treat me like a real brother. His words hit Victoria's soft spot. She didn't push him away. Instead, she gently patted his back, her eyes filled with pity. From now on, I'll take care of you. As long as I'm here, if anyone dares to bully you, I'll never let them get away with it. And from now on, I'll celebrate every birthday with you. Chapter 5. The next day, as soon as Theodore Thorne, the head of the Thorne family, arrived at his office, his secretary came rushing in, her high heels clacking anxiously. Her face was etched with unprecedented panic. Mr. Thorne, this is bad. The investors called first thing this morning. They said they're pulling their funding. What? Theodore's eyes widened in disbelief. The secretary's face was grim as she continued. Mr. Thorne, it's not just one. All of our investors and partners have unilaterally canceled their contracts with us. The bank called too. They said Thorne Corp. Its credit rating is too low, and our loans have been frozen. They're demanding immediate repayment of all outstanding loans, or they'll take us to court. Theodore grabbed the secretary's arm, his knuckles turning white. What did you say? Say that again. The secretary, startled by his intensity, stammered. All the partners have pulled out, and the loans are frozen? But how is this possible? Theodore couldn't believe it. Many of his projects were already halfway to completion. If all the investors and suppliers pulled out and the bank called in their loans, Thorne Corp would face an unprecedented crisis. One wrong move and the entire Thorne family could collapse. He knew that these people had only chosen to work with Thorne Corp because of the Sterling family's backing. The business world of Haishi was practically the Sterlings' domain. Weren't they afraid of offending the Sterlings by pulling out now? Just then, another secretary rushed in, her voice trembling. Mr. Thorne, the construction sites just called the executive office. Many of our sites have been inspected and issued stop work orders. They said our projects have safety hazards. Crash! In a fit of rage, Theodore snatched a priceless crystal sculpture from his desk and hurled it to the floor. It shattered into a million pieces with a deafening noise, making both secretaries jump. Veins bulged on Theodore's forehead. Something's wrong. This is very wrong. Who dares to mess with my family? Do they have a death wish? As long as the Sterlings hadn't abandoned them, this wasn't the end. There was still a chance to turn things around. After calming down slightly, Theodore felt a sliver of reassurance. He quickly took out his phone, his hands trembling as he dialed my number. Chapter 6. I sat in my office on the top floor of the Sterling Corporation building, coldly watching my phone ring incessantly. The caller ID showed Theodore Thorne. Spread before me was a thick file on him. Financial fraud, tax evasion, commercial deception. Propped up by my Sterling family, the Thorne family had truly become lawless. If I handed this evidence over, he'd spend the rest of his life behind bars. I let it ring until the fifth call before I leisurely answered. On the other end, Theodore Thorne's voice was on the verge of tears. Sincere, you finally answered. I got a call this morning. All of Thorne Corp's investors and partners are pulling out. Do you know what's going on? My tone was glacial, without a hint of warmth. Oh, is that so? It seems they're quite efficient. Theodore's heart sank. He asked, trembling, Sincere, what do you mean? I mean, Sterling Corporation is completely terminating its partnership with Thorne Corp. The official announcement will be out shortly. Theodore felt as if he'd been struck by lightning. He froze on the spot. If other investors pulling out had thrown Thorne Corp into chaos, Sterling Corporation terminating its partnership was a death sentence. Before he could even ask why, the line went dead. Theodore remained frozen, holding the phone to his ear. The dial tone, a series of beeps, felt like a sledgehammer pounding on his skull, leaving his mind a complete blank. "Sterling? Is canceling our partnership?" he muttered to himself, his face draining from pale to ashen gray. His legs gave out, and he collapsed into his office chair. The two secretaries were too scared to even breathe. The office was dead silent. Impossible. Impossible. Sincere loves Vicky so much, how could he cancel the partnership? Theodore mumbled. Then a sudden realization dawned on him. The foundation of the partnership between Thorn Corp and Sterling Corporation was the relationship between my daughter and Sincere. The cancellation clearly meant their relationship was in trouble. Having pinpointed the issue, he quickly had his secretary investigate the cause. When he heard the report, he was stunned. He couldn't believe his ears. "What? You're saying Victoria didn't go to Sincere's birthday party yesterday? Instead, she went to the beach to celebrate with an intern and even flaunted it on her social media." Chapter 7. Yes, Mr. Thorne, many people were there last night and personally heard Mr. Sterling give the order, not only to cancel the partnership with us, but also to conduct a thorough investigation into any irregularities on our part over the years of cooperation. Theodore felt a surge of rage shoot straight to his head. His vision swam. He leaped from his chair, grabbed a stack of documents from his desk, and slammed them to the ground. Papers scattered everywhere, a few fluttering to his secretary's feet. That ungrateful wretch, that wretch! Theodore trembled with fury, his voice hoarse from extreme anger. How could I have raised such a clueless creature? What kind of status does Sincere Sterling hold? She's publicly slapping the Sterling family in the face. Does she want to see our family destroyed? The two secretaries shrank back, their heads bowed, not daring to breathe. They had never seen Theodore so enraged. Theodore took a deep breath and quickly dialed Victoria's number. The call connected almost immediately. He roared into the phone, "Victoria Thorne, you rebellious daughter. Look what you've done. Get your ass back here right now." Unexpectedly, Victoria sounded completely unfazed. "Dad, why are you so angry? Did Sincere complain to you?" "It's Ethan's birthday and he had no one to celebrate with, so I took him out to relax." "What's wrong with that? Why are you overreacting?" The Thorne family's current success was, in a way, all thanks to Victoria. Her status at home had naturally soared, and even Theodore had to cater to her. As a result, she had grown to disrespect him as her father. Theodore felt like his lungs were about to explode. "Do you have any idea that because of your willfulness, the Sterling family has canceled their partnership with us? Are you trying to completely destroy our family?" Victoria scoffed. "Oh, please! Sincere has been at my beck and call since we were kids. It's not an exaggeration to call him my lapdog. This is just his little trick to make me submit. So childish. I'll just coax him a bit when I get back." "Do you really think he'd dare to move against Thorn Corp?" Theodore couldn't believe what he was hearing. With investors pulling out and partners canceling contracts, the house was on fire, and she still thought Sincere was just joking around? Chapter 8. The next second, a cloyingly sweet male voice came through the phone. It was so affected that it made Theodore's stomach turn. "My dear Victoria, don't worry about the call. This tuna sashimi is excellent. You should try some. Here, let me feed you." You're so sweet, Ethan." Theodore's roar echoed through the phone again. "Victoria Thorne, are you trying to kill me? Will you only be satisfied when you see our family ruined and homeless?" His shout made Victoria frown deeply. If it weren't for her, would the Thorne family be where it is today? Her own anger flared. "Dad, are you ever going to stop nagging?" she snapped. "I already told you Sincere is just throwing a tantrum. Look at you, all worked up. Do you even look like the president of Thorn Corp anymore? Fine, just stop calling. I'm trying to have dinner with Ethan." "You're ruining the mood with that." Victoria hung up without a second thought. No matter how many times Theodore tried to call back, she didn't answer. Theodore's vision went black, and he nearly collapsed. He couldn't comprehend how he had raised such an idiot for a daughter. Their marriage alliance with the Sterling family was supposed to be a sure thing. Who would have thought that at this critical juncture, they would be sabotaged by a charity case they had sponsored years ago? Even if Victoria liked Ethan, she should have at least kept it discreet. How could she put something like this out in the open, and to post it so brazenly on social media? The Sterlings weren't just the richest family in Haishi. They were ranked in the top 3 on the national billionaire list. Did she really think they were all fools? Theodore smashed his phone to pieces and gasped for air. He paced anxiously in his office before coming to a sudden halt, a ruthless glint in his eyes. Send people to the beach house now. Tie those two idiots up and bring them back to me immediately. The coast wasn't far from the city. They could be brought back by afternoon at the latest. He had to appease Sincere Sterling at any cost. Otherwise, the Thorne family was finished. All of Thorne Corp's projects had been halted. Theodore had made some old friends over the years, and he wasn't about to sit back and do nothing. He called them one by one. But without exception, they either didn't answer or, if they did, would hang up after a few words, claiming an emergency. For the first time, he felt the immense, despair-inducing power of the Sterling family. Chapter 9. I was flipping through Ethan Miller's file when my assistant knocked and entered, a troubled look on his face. Mr. Sterling, the director of the care facility, just called. He said Ethan's mother has been verbally and physically abusing the staff without reason. Furthermore, several valuable items have gone missing recently, and surveillance footage suggests that Ethan's mother is the likely culprit. However, since Miss Thorne arranged for her to stay there, they didn't dare to handle it themselves and called to ask for instructions. I paused for a moment, then remembered a similar incident from the original book. This private care facility owned by the Sterling family was located in a forest park in the city center. It was easily accessible and had a serene environment, equipped with all kinds of recreational facilities. It was arguably the best facility of its kind in the province, if not the entire country. The residents were all dignitaries or their relatives. Some retired senior officials would also spend time there every year. Victoria Thorne had arranged for Ethan's mother to live there. The original spineless Sincere wouldn't have dared to object, but I wasn't him, and I wasn't about to indulge her. I put down Ethan's file and stood up. Simon, let's go. We'll pay a visit to the care facility. Yes, Mr. Sterling. Simon quickly fell into step behind me. As I approached the door to Brenda Miller's room with my assistant, we could hear shouting from inside. Let me tell you, I was personally placed here by your Mr. Sterling's fiancée, you bunch of snobs. If you don't serve me properly, I'll have Mr. Sterling fire all of you. Get out, all of you, get out. A group of young nurses ran out, crying and clutching their red, swollen cheeks. Chapter 10. Brenda Miller was lying on the bed. The floor beneath was littered with sunflower seed shells and banana peels. She had her legs crossed and was dialing a number on her phone. Son? Have you sealed the deal with Victoria Thorne yet? The staff at this facility are a bunch of useless snobs. You need to tell Vicky to transfer ownership of this place to you. Then we'll see who dares to look down on me. Ethan's voice came from the other end. Don't worry, Mom. Just give me a little more time. I'll definitely win Victoria over. Sincere Sterling is a total pushover. Once they're married, I have plenty of ways to make sure he ends up 6 feet under. Then, not just this facility, but everything from Sterling Corporation will be ours. Standing at the doorway, I listened to their arrogant conversation with a smirk. Beside me, my assistant and the facility director were pale with rage. Brenda cackled. By the way, son, I happened to get my hands on a jade bracelet a couple of days ago. The quality is excellent, looks very valuable. I'll give it to you when you get back. You can use it to win over Vicky. She'll definitely love it. Mom, be careful. Don't let anyone find out. Those people are not to be trifled with. Once we have the Sterling fortune, we can have anything we want. Brenda waved it off. All right, you know you can trust me. Besides, even if I get caught, isn't that girl Vicky there to cover for me? You don't think she'd abandon me, do you? Her throat dry from talking, Brenda yelled towards the door. Someone, where are all you nurses? Get in here and get me a glass of water. Are you trying to let me die of thirst? I sneered and had the director push the door open. Brenda froze when she saw us. Who are you? Get out. Who let you in? Who am I? I walked to her bedside and looked down at her. I'm the owner of this care facility, Sincere Sterling. Chapter 11. Brenda Miller's expression changed, but she quickly regained her arrogance. So you're that pusho, let me tell you. I was placed here by your fiancée, Victoria Thorne. You'd better show me some respect. I turned to the facility director. Director, compile all the evidence of her behavior here over the past few days, including the abuse of staff and the stolen items. Report it to the police. Yes, Mr. Sterling. The director immediately took out his phone to make the arrangements. Brenda's face went white with panic. She scrambled to sit up. You can't do this. Believe it or not, I'll have Vicky break off the engagement with you right now. I couldn't be bothered to waste my breath on her. Security guards rushed in. The director ordered sternly, Restrain her immediately, the police are on their way. Don't let her dispose of the stolen goods hearing this. The nurses who had been slapped earlier brightened up and rushed in to help. Brenda trembled with rage, screaming obscenities. "What are you doing?" "Don't touch my things. I'm not a thief, you bastards. These are my personal belongings. Put them down when Victoria Thorne gets back. You'll all be in for a world of hurt." The police arrived quickly. The director had emphasized during the call that the stolen jewelry was worth millions, so the police took the matter very seriously. No matter how much Brenda thrashed and screamed, no one paid her any mind. The police soon found an imperial green jadeite bracelet in her bag. This bracelet matched the description of one reported stolen and filed with the police a few days ago. All the details matched. She was caught red-handed. I glanced at Brenda's phone. Her call with Ethan was still connected. On the other end, Ethan was raging impotently. "Mom, you just wait. I'm going to find Victoria Thorne right now. I'll have her get you out immediately. Sincere Sterling, you bastard. You dare touch my mom. I'm not finished with you. Heh. After I'm done with your mother, you're next." Chapter 12. Next, a necklace and an emerald ring were found on Brenda. As soon as the items were discovered, women in the crowd of onlookers came forward to claim them. "That necklace is mine. I've been looking for it for ages. So this old hag stole it. The ring is mine, damn thief." The people staying at the Sterling private care facility were not ordinary. Now, with the total value of the stolen goods exceeding $10 million, she would likely spend the rest of her life in prison. Brenda collapsed to the floor. No, it's not theft. I just thought they were pretty and borrowed them for a bit. I'll give them back to you now. Sincere." "No, Mr. Sterling, I was wrong. Please, for Vicky's sake, help me." "Ah, damn you, Sincere Sterling, you bastard. Just wait until my son and Victoria get back. They'll make you pay, caught red-handed." The police weren't going to listen to her excuses. They took her away on the spot. I had the facility issue premium gold cards to the guests who had lost their valuables. Cardholders would receive 5 years of complimentary services at the facility. The staff members who had been bullied each received a handsome compensation package. Walking out of the facility, I checked my phone and saw dozens of missed calls and a flood of messages from Victoria. "Sincere, how long are you going to keep this up? Get Ethan's mother out of there right now. Why are you making such a big deal out of such a small thing? I celebrate one birthday with Ethan, and you cause all this trouble. Can't you be more mature? I'm telling you, when I get back, you'd better kneel and apologize to Ethan, or I will never forgive you." A cold smile touched my lips as I replied with a single message. "Fine. Then please never forgive me." Chapter 13. Meanwhile, on a sofa in the beach house, Victoria Thorne's knuckles turned white as she gripped her phone. She was about to explode with rage. "Fine. Sincere Sterling, just you wait until I get back and deal with you." She took Ethan's hand and comforted him gently. "Ethan, don't worry. I'm here. Your mother will be fine. I will get you justice." Ethan's eyes were red, tears streaming down his face. "It's all my fault. If I hadn't asked you to celebrate my birthday with me, none of this would have happened. My dear Victoria, you're all I have." Victoria's heart ached. She pulled him into an embrace, her hatred for me deepening. Vivian Croft pursed her lips. "Vicky, I told you before, you're just too good to Sincere. That's why he's getting more and more arrogant. You absolutely cannot forgive him easily this time, I know, Viv. Get your things. We're going back right now to settle the score with Sincere." Just then the doorbell rang unexpectedly. Victoria and Vivian exchanged a look. Their villa was isolated, with no other houses nearby. They only came here for occasional vacations. They couldn't imagine who could have found them here. Victoria opened the door to find the Thorne family's butler standing there with 5 bodyguards. The butler's expression was grim. "Miss, the master has ordered me to bring you back today no matter what. Please come with me." Victoria was already planning to go back, so despite her frown, she didn't argue. The 3 of them were escorted like prisoners into a van. As they entered the city, the butler made a call to Theodore Thorne. "Yes, master, I understand." After hanging up, he turned to Victoria. "Miss, the master said to take you directly to the Sterling family estate." Victoria was itching to confront me, so she had no objections, though her face grew darker by the second. "Fine. I understand." Chapter 14. The Sterling family estate, Azure Hills Manor, was the largest in Haishi. Theodore Thorne arrived first. Vehicles were prohibited inside Azure Hills Manor, so he had to park outside. He stood at the main gate, peering into the estate. Soon, he spotted the patrolling bodyguards. Theodore quickly rang the bell. Captain Pierce, it's Theodore Thorne, open the gate. The bodyguards were, of course, familiar with the Thorne family, but today their eyes held a hint of disdain. The head of security, Leo Pierce, was my trusted subordinate and had already received my instructions. He spoke bluntly. I don't care who you are. Do you have an appointment? Theodore was stunned. In the past, these security guards had always been respectful. He had never been treated with such contempt. Looks like you don't. Then please leave. Our young master is a very busy man. He doesn't have time to see every Tom, Dick, and Harry who shows up. Having said his piece, Leo turned to leave. Theodore panicked. Captain Pierce, take a closer look. It's me, Theodore Thorne. I come here often. I've never needed an appointment before. Leo scoffed. You said it yourself. That was before. The young master has given orders, no appointment, no entry. No matter how composed Theodore usually was, a flicker of anger crossed his face. But since he was the one asking for a favor, he didn't dare act on it. Just then Victoria and the others arrived. She heard every word and flew into a rage, storming over. Well, Leo Pierce, how dare you speak to my father like that? Who gave you the nerve? Leo turned slowly, his gaze sweeping over the furious Victoria with a mocking sneer. Miss Thorne? Everyone in Haiti knows your family is finished. Do you really think you can still strut around Azure Hills Manor like you own the place? Victoria trembled with rage, pointing a finger at Leo's nose. Who do you think you are? You're nothing but a dog raised by the Sterling family, and you dare to lecture me? Have you forgotten how Sincere listens to my every word? Either you let me in right now, or I'll have Sincere break all your limbs, seeing Victoria's arrogant attitude. Leo felt a bit uncertain. He wasn't sure if I truly intended to destroy the Thorne family or if this was just a scare tactic. If it was the latter and Victoria ended up marrying me, he, a mere security captain, would have a tough time if he offended her too deeply. Thinking it was best to ask for clarification, he made a call. After hanging up, Leo spoke coldly. The young master said that only the Thorne father and daughter, and Ethan Miller, are allowed to enter the estate. Everyone else waits outside Chapter 15. After entering the manor, Theodore frantically explained to Victoria the dire situation of Thorne Corp, how it was on the brink of collapse. He was powerless and had pinned all his hopes on his daughter. The more Victoria heard, the angrier she became, her hands clenched into tight fists. Sincere had always been utterly obedient to her. He was her lapdog, how dare he? As she reached the entrance of the main house, she saw me leisurely sipping red wine by the door. She charged at me, her high heels clattering furiously on the stone path, each step a testament to her inner rage. Sincere Sterling, you have the nerve to sit here and drink? Do you have any idea that Ethan's mother has been thrown in jail because of you? And what about the state of Thorncorp? What the hell do you want? She jabbed a finger at my nose, her face pale with fury, spittle flying from her lips. I stood up and slapped her across the face. You have some nerve talking to me like that. The crisp sound of the slap echoed, startling everyone. Victoria's head snapped to the side, a red handprint instantly swelling on her fair cheek. She was stunned. Clutching her face, she stared at me in disbelief. You hit me? Her eyes were wide, her voice cracking with shock. Sincere Sterling, you actually hit me? In her world, I, Sincere Sterling, was the eternal doormat who bent to her every whim. I had never even raised my voice at her, let alone laid a hand on her. But now, I seemed like a complete stranger. She could no longer see any trace of the fawning and caution that used to fill my eyes. All she saw was ice and indifference. It sent a wave of inexplicable panic through her heart. Theodore rushed forward to protect Victoria but was blocked by bodyguards. He jumped up and down in frustration, yelling at me. Sincere Sterling, you've gone too far no matter what. Vicky is still your fiancée. How could you hit her? Ethan snapped out of his shock and ran to Victoria's side, wrapping an arm around her slender waist and glaring at me. Sincere, you're a brute even if she did something wrong. Does that give you the right to hit her? Victoria's face was as black as thunder. Sincere, I am genuinely furious this time. You will get on your knees and apologize right now, or you can forget about me ever forgiving you. Chapter 16. Her words made me laugh. Even now, this woman couldn't read the room. How typical of a female-oriented novel's protagonist. Leo, since Miss Thorne is so fond of making people kneel, you should grant them their wish. Give each of them 100 slaps. Let's see if that wakes them up. Leo's eyes lit up with excitement. He had long been fed up with the Thorne family and this manipulative, pretty boy. He gave a signal to the dozen bodyguards behind him, who instantly subdued the three of them. "Sincere Sterling, you dare!" Victoria shrieked, struggling against the bodyguard's grip to no avail. Theodore panicked and yelled, "Sincere, what are you doing? I'm your Uncle Thorne." Ethan was pinned to the ground, his pretty face pressed against the cold stone pavers. His voice trembled with fear. "My dear Victoria, save me." Leo didn't waste any time. He personally delivered a resounding slap across Ethan's face. Ethan's cheek swelled instantly, and a trickle of blood seeped from the corner of his mouth. With that first slap, the other bodyguards began. A symphony of crisp smacks echoed throughout the manor. Victoria was completely stunned. She couldn't understand how things had escalated to this point, all because she had celebrated Ethan's birthday. Fear, like a venomous snake, coiled around her heart. She finally believed it. I was really going to bankrupt her family. The fiery sting on her face shattered her composure. She broke down, crying and screaming, "Sincere, I was wrong. I shouldn't have gone to celebrate with someone else on your birthday. Stop hitting us. Please stop. I really know I was wrong." I remained unmoved by her pleas, leisurely sipping my wine. After 100 slaps, all three of them had faces swollen like pigs. This time, Victoria Thorne finally understood the reality of her situation. She crawled over on her knees and tugged at my pant leg, her face pleading, "Sincere, I was wrong. I was truly wrong. Please spare my family. I'll listen to you from now on. I swear there's nothing between me and Ethan. Please don't be angry, okay?" Remembering the tragic fate of the Sterling family in the original book, I felt not a shred of pity for her. I kicked her away, grabbed a stack of documents from the table, and threw them at her head. "Victoria Thorne, take a good look. This is all the evidence of your father's financial fraud, tax evasion, and commercial deception. If this gets out, your father will never see the light of day again." I had Leo toss a baseball bat in front of her. "If you want me to let you go, you'll have to make me happy." Chapter 17. Victoria's gaze fell on the baseball bat, and her pupils contracted violently. Her entire body trembled uncontrollably. Ethan, lying on the ground, cried out incoherently, "My dear Victoria, don't believe him. He just wants to torture us. We don't have to beg him. There must be another way." Theodore looked at his daughter's wavering expression, the disappointment in his heart growing deeper. He gritted his teeth and roared at her. "Vicky, what are you still hesitating for? Is your father and the entire Thorne family less important than this pretty boy? Are you just going to stand by and watch me get arrested and our family go bankrupt?" Victoria's head was bowed, her expression hidden. After a long moment, she seemed to have made her decision. When she looked at Ethan again, her eyes were stripped of their former warmth, replaced only by endless, venomous resentment. It was all Ethan's fault. If it weren't for him, she would have become Mrs. Sterling, and her family would never have faced such a downfall. Ethan saw the look in her eyes and was terrified. He writhed on the ground, screaming, "My dear Victoria, you can't do this. Don't we truly love each other? Have you forgotten you promised to protect and cherish me forever?" "Shut your mouth," Victoria shrieked as if her tail had been stepped on. She snatched up the baseball bat and swung it viciously at Ethan's leg. Crack! Ah! The sound of bone shattering and a pig-like squeal erupted simultaneously. Ethan's face contorted in agony as he thrashed on the ground, overcome with boundless regret. He had been crippled and his mother arrested, all before he had even secured Victoria. He just didn't understand. In the upper echelons of society, love was a meaningless fantasy. The only law everyone believed in was self-interest. Compared to love, Victoria Thorne certainly loved herself more. Chapter 18. Seeing my lack of reaction, Victoria gritted her teeth and broke Ethan's other leg. Then she broke his third leg. A pungent, foul odor filled the air, nearly making me gag. Ethan passed out completely. Victoria tossed the bat aside and scrambled to her knees, her face plastered with a fawning smile. "Sincere, see? I only love you. I really know I was wrong. Please, give me one more chance." I poured the remaining half-bottle of red wine over her head and spoke coldly. "Victoria Thorne, you also participated in the commercial fraud, and your recent act of intentional injury has been recorded. How many years do you think you'll both get if I hand you over to the police?" The crimson wine streamed down her hair, making her look as if she were covered in blood. She froze, the ingratiating smile on her face solidifying into pure shock and profound terror. No, Sincere, I was wrong. You can't do this to me. Go to Africa. Go see the great savannas. And don't ever come back. You know the consequences if you do. Leo, send these 3 to Africa. I want you to handle the arrangements. Yes, young master. No, I won't go. Sincere. You can't do this to me. She lunged at me like a madwoman, trying to grab my leg, but Leo kicked her away, sending her sprawling to the ground. The 3 of them were quickly dragged away by the bodyguards. No, Sincere, I'm your fiancé. You said you would love me forever. Sincere, you bastard, how could you do this to me? I was wrong. I was really wrong. I'll never do it again. They were dragged out like dead dogs. I turned slowly to my assistant. Vivian Croft played a dishonorable role in this incident. I'll leave her family to you. A ruthless glint flashed in Simon's eyes. Of course, Mr. Sterling, I returned to the manor. With the original Sincere's parents abroad, the whole estate felt empty. What was even more unbearable was that the useless original Sincere, in his attempt to please Victoria, had replaced all the servants in the manor with men. I immediately summoned the butler and gave him a piece of my mind. Hire a new batch of staff tea ceremony masters, stylists, gardeners, chefs, private doctors, massage therapists, cleaners, and so on. I have only one requirement. They must all be beautiful women with sweet voices who can dance. How am I supposed to live my life facing a bunch of stinking men every day? The butler gave me a knowing look, a sleazy grin spreading across his face.
Young master, rest assured I understand perfectly. I guarantee your satisfaction.
Young master, will 36D be acceptable? End of story.